training from MP-CAV-T.
Here, I'll reclaim the host bin. See if I can do that.
If you have it on site above 10,000 pounds, and for, oil, that's 42 barrels, for any 24-hour period during the calendar year. Any question about that? That's what catches you guys and puts you into the system. No? Okay. What do you turn in? Well, the report itself is fairly straightforward. Where are you? In other words, where are these hazardous substances? And in Oklahoma, we rely very heavily on identifying the latitude and longitude, because everything that we receive goes into mapping systems. It also asks for the maximum quantity stored in the container type. And we have a workaround for oil and gas production, which I'll go into later, but we allow you to simply make an estimate of oil and gas. Generally, my guidance is you would use the capacity. So if you had 3 110s and a water tank, I would just add all that together, and then you have to report it as pounds. So it'd be barrels times, I believe, 8.33 times, I have to go back and look that up. How many gallons in a barrel? Anybody?
Is it 42 maybe?
42.
42. So your barrels times 42 times 8 gives you a very good estimate of your maximum quantity in pounds. So where is it? What is it? And who in the world can we call or contact if we have an emergency or any questions? So that's the way it breaks down. Where are you? What do you got? Who are you? How do we get a hold of you? Site plans are not required, but we encourage them where it makes sense. And you might say, well, what's a site plan? Because typically when I say the word site plan, people start thinking about a diagram. Well, a site plan can be whatever you think it needs to be. It doesn't have to be a diagram. Lots of things can be incorporated as site plans. For example, here's what Devon turns in for their compressor stations. And you can see there's a lot of information there. It's probably more than I need, but it's very well done. It includes information that their staff puts together that they want to get to the first responders, and including it as part of your Tier 2 is another pathway that you should get this to the first responders. We send it to them, so they're going to get it. Now, whether they use it or not, I can't have any control over that, but whatever you include on your Tier 2 report is going to go to the County Emergency Management Office and to the fire departments. So that's just an example. I don't say that's what you need to do. It's just an example of a very complete site plan as an addition to their Tier 2 report. Here's another one. You probably already have something like this as part of your SPCC plan. And this one's more like a diagram, which is fine. There's a lot of really good information on there. If you wanted to include this, I don't know that you need to include the entire spill plan, but if you have a diagram like this, sometimes that's nice. I can see a lot without having to go explore the site. I can see that you have a dog because there's a doghouse. And there must be some kind of testing well. I see something called tester and so forth. The one thing I probably would have added to this would be, I probably would have printed the emergency phone number right on that plan. So if a fireman's looking at this, he can also get the phone number. So we know how, or we know why we report, because the law says that crude oil and natural gas and anything with an SDS counts. And we know what we report, where we are, what we have, and who we are. So let's explore how you submit reports in Oklahoma. And by the way, in Colorado is very, very, very similar. In Oklahoma, you only submit to the DEQ. Colorado's the same way. You only submit to the state of Colorado, but if you're in Utah, this does not apply. The law requires that you make triplicate reports and you ensure that they get to the state, the county, and the local. Some few states, not very many, but Arkansas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming, all of those states have amended that to say you just report to the state and the state will take care of distribution to the counties and the locals. But you do need to check in which state you're reporting, make sure that you're fulfilling the requirements. In Oklahoma and many states, you're no longer allowed to submit anything via paper. It has to be done electronically. And the DEQ rule says you have to submit electronically using a DEQ approved software. And currently, we only have one approved software, which is called Teir II Submit. It is a free program that is created, maintained, and distributed by the EPA, so it doesn't cost you anything. But you do have to use, in Oklahoma, that program, and in many states, you have to use that program. Texas has its own proprietary programs. Anybody report in Texas?
Yes, I do.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you report in Texas, you have my sympathy.
Okay. Well, that's all right. I understand.
Yeah. They have their own system that's unique to Texas. And it's a little more cumbersome than typically what we use. You do have to include latitude and longitude coordinates. I will demonstrate how you can obtain those if you don't already have them. Most of you should already have them. You have to have them for your OCC rules. You have to have them for your SPCC reports. So you really should have a lat long coordinate already. If you don't, I'm going to show you how you can use the Teir II Submit software to obtain your latitude and longitude. And there is a fee program. It's based on the number of locations that you report if you're an oil and gas producer. If you're a different operation, such as Clean Harbors, you're going to have an invoice based on the number of materials that you report. So there are two different types of way to compute the fee. This is the DEQ webpage. That's where everything starts. So I'm going to switch to the DEQ webpage for my sharing now. I'm going to leave the PowerPoint for now. Okay, so I think I have to stop share. Go back to, oh, Tommy, now it's not letting me share again.
Try it again.
Yep, there it goes. So, where's my, I think that says PowerPoint slideshow. Interesting. Let me try that. Oh, there he is, I think, maybe. There we go. Does everybody see the DEQ homepage now?
Yes.
COVID-19 at the top.
Yep, we got it.
Yes.
Very good. So in Oklahoma, you start here at the DEQ webpage. And if you look just down a little bit in the center, there's going to be a link called Tier II Reporting. When you select that, you get to the Tier II page. And we hope everything you need is going to be here on the page. But sometimes people have questions or run into issues. So we do have staff who are always available. You can call us, you can email us, and we will help you. And generally, we expect that you're going to start by downloading the Tier II Submit software. And we have some other information about that. After you get the software, we're going to anticipate you're going to download last year's report so that you do not have to retype all the same information over and over again every year. You should be able to download last year's report and import that to the system. So again, we think you're going to start here. You're going to get the software. I'm not going to do that. I've already got the software. And we put some, instructions. Hey, how do I import into the software? Well, we have a Word document and it'll just open it right up for you and tell you how to do it. Okay. Let me see if I close that. Yeah, it did. Okay. Got information about contacts, and here's my sheet on doing attachments. So you might think of them as site plans, but I think of them as attachments because they don't have to be a site plan. And you can review this if you're interested in including additional information. This is a pretty good document, it has a lot of examples on it. For example, this was what one person, this is actually a water plant. This is what they submitted as a site plan, which is pretty cool because you may not be able to see it very well. I don't know if I can zoom in on that or not. Doesn't look like it. But see these yellow pins? They list the chemical that they're reporting. And they put some other information like where's the main gate and so forth. There's that one from Devon. This is somebody who took some photographs and then they added some text. Notice they did include the phone numbers, which I think are cool. This is available for you. Oh, I'm going to hit this admin button. Just some ideas on what a reasonable addition would be to your site plans. Any questions about site plans or attachments? Again, I would say they're not required. They're just something you can do if you think that would be useful. You're welcome to do it. Any questions about those? I'm going to take that as a no. All right, so you'll get your Tier II Submit software, and then you'll want to get last year's report. But here's an important thing right here I'm going to show you. Search for a 2019 Tier II report or search for a 2020. We always have people every year that go, gee, I want to make sure that you got my report. So we have this link here that opens up a DEQ map and shows every Tier II report in the state. Now, I noticed we had somebody from Continental. I just wanted to see, hey, I wonder if I got Continental Resources. And I
Yeah.
typed the word Continental in here. Notice that it shows that we do have reports from you, as well as other things that are called Continental. Now, it does have a limit on how much it'll display at a time. But let's say I was like, well, I wanted to see about my Abercrombie 134 report. You could select that, and the map will zoom in and show that location.
Can you repeat where you get to that map at?
You betcha. Because we want you to use the map. So we're on the Tier 2 reporting page. And we look in download last year's report. And once we look in there, there's these links that say you can look for something that was submitted in 2019, or you could look for something that was submitted in 2020. So I selected the 2020, it just automatically opens the map.
Okay, thank you for going over that again real quick.
Well, sure. We got all time in the world here. So again, you can search by the name. Let's say I had a tank battery that was named the Jones something or another. So I could start looking in here for stuff like that. Or I could look by a company name. However, another option is you can simply, I'm using a scroll wheel. I can just zoom in. I said, well, I know where my tank battery is. It's over here somewhere, right? And you can just zoom in. You can select any of the blue dots and it will tell you what that Tier 2 report is. Thumbs up. So you can use the search engine, search by name, or you can zoom in and click on a dot. I guess it gives you the advantage, additional advantage of you could check out and see who your neighbors are if you didn't know. Another thing you could do, you could say, well, I live in, let me get rid of this. I live in, let's say Ardmore. So I live in Ardmore. I'm going to zoom in next to where my house is. Let's say I live around here. I said, my goodness, I got blue dots around me. I wonder what all that is. So you could say, well, you could see who has submitted Tier 2 reports around your home. Now you notice it doesn't tell you how to contact anybody or what materials they reported. So here's the way that works. If you're interested in finding out what Ruston Concrete reports, you have to submit a request to myself or Matt, and we will copy out their Tier 2 report and send it to you. But we don't provide that information on the web. You have to make a request for it. So if you're ever curious about who's reported hazardous substances anywhere in the state, you can use this map to locate them. And then if you're further interested, you can send a request and we will respond to that. One of the ways I know some people have used this in the past, they might look at, let's say they're going to check grandma into the nursing home. You know, they want to see if there's any industry with hazardous chemicals in that nursing home area. So you can do that. Sometimes they're looking at buying some property and they want to see, well, what's around this home or this acreage I want to buy. So there you go. Any questions on the map again? Everybody okay with that? See how that works? And we certainly want you to use it. Now, let's say you look on the map and you do not find your Tier 2 report, right? That means we don't have it. That's when you need to contact us and say, look, I thought I did this. If we have it, it's on the map. In Oklahoma, we will send you an account number. So once you get the software, once you get last year's report, you can get into the filing system, and the first thing it wants is your login and password. Okay? And you don't have that, but I will tell you this, they don't change from year to year. So let me grab just Mesa Exploration. That'll do. Okay, is everybody able to see the login page here for the DEQ Tier 2 system?
Yes.
Very good. I'm going to sign in as Mesa Exploration. This page simply is kind of like you do your taxes online. It just says, yes, I know I don't have an original signature, but we're going to use an electronic signature instead. The lawyers say we have to have this. And then here's your steps. Again, you could just go to the filing system and log in first, because here's the link to the EPA software. Here's the link to last year's report. It tells you want to go and operate the software. Okay. You're going to upload, and then you'll be able to get your invoice and pay it. So I already have the software. I'm not going to do that. But I will download last year's report from Mesa. Oh, well, sometimes you get that message, which means you're going to have to contact us. So I will just borrow something. But once I've got it downloaded, I have to exit or leave the internet page. And let's see, does everybody see the Tier 2 Submit software?
Yes.
Okay, this is no longer on the web. Okay, this is on your computer. Everybody has to have it. So I'm going to start it. It's going to give me a quick guide, which we're not even going to go through that. But what happens is you start it and there's no information here. And you say, well, that's not good, because I reported information. I want to get last year's. That's why we have you download last year's report. And we have all this in the instructions. You would import last year's report. And I'm pretty sure I can find something here. I don't even know who this is, but we'll just grab it. So this is last year's report for somebody. Advanced Aircraft Coatings. So if you had 89 oil wells, they would all show up here. In fact, it would probably be good. Let me go get something from an oil.
Hey, Tom, I only see the applications.deq.ok.gov.
You don't see the Tier 2 Submit software? No. Is that the same for everybody?
They're all muted right now, so unless they unmute themselves.
All right, let's try stop share. And
That's all I see also.
I might have to re-share here with the, let's try this.
It always seems to
Did
happen
that work?
when there's a switch between who's the host.
Now, are you seeing the Tier 2 Submit software with no information?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I had to change. Tony, you might make a note on that. I changed on my laptop, but the sharing, I had to actually physically stop the internet share and go to the software share. All right, so we're going to import a file. And I'm going to try to find somebody here who's an oil and gas guy. You won't do this. I mean, I've got lots of them. I don't want that one. Let's go. Gore. No, that's gore nitrogen. I'll grab one of these guys. Somebody's got enough to be interesting. Arapahoe, Harrison Oil and Gas. I don't know how many they have. Let's find out. 71. That's enough to be interesting. So they went in and we got Harrison Oil and Gas. Now, the first thing that will happen once you put, they have 71 of them. All of these green check marks will actually, let me do something here real quick so it'll look proper. There we go. So this is what it would really look like when you did the import of last year's. You'll get these red exclamation points. Does everybody see those? That means there's something missing on the report and they're not acceptable. And the word they use in the software is validated. So you cannot submit unvalidated report data. However, in this case, I want to find out why they're not correct. So I click to show validation errors. And it says, I need the date signed. I go, okay. And it will take us right to the place that wants the date signed and lets you select it. I'll just use my back button and notice that I fixed one. That's not real good, is it? Because I don't want to have to do this 71 times. Would you like to fix all 71 of them at once? I bet somebody said yes.
Yes.
So I'm going to use this little box here. Notice what that did was that selected every one of them. And at that point, I can add, I can change contacts, I can change chemicals, but here's the one I want. Edit the selected facilities as a group. So I'm going to edit all 71 of them, and I could change any of these fields, and it would apply to all 71. And the one I want to change is the date signed. I want to change it to today's date, apply it. It gives you a little message that says, hey, are you sure you want to do this? And now we have fixed or edited, revised all 71 of them. Maybe I just wanted to fix some of them. So I could go through here, say, oh, I want to fix that one and that one and that one. Maybe I've got a different pumper on those. So I just selected 3 of them, and I could go to the contact guys, and I could say, hey, I want to put Cecil Bryan on there. And now he would have been added to those 3 records. So I can use this multiple select thing to either pick everything or just pick a few of them, depending on what I want to edit. What if I wanted to say, well, I have 5 of them here that are all plugged and abandoned. So I could pick 5 of them. I could hit the trash can, hit delete, and it would remove those. Everybody okay so far? So what do I want to do? Well, I get last year's report and I want to make some changes. I can either change all of them if I select all. I can pick a few I want to change by manually selecting them. I can delete some by manually selecting them and using the trash can. And the other thing I might want to do is I might want to add some new ones. I might have bought these from somebody else, or I might have had new drills. I don't know. But there's a little plus sign here that tells me how to add stuff. So if I just did add new facility, that's bad. You usually don't want to do that. Now I got to type in every single one of these fields. Agreed? And I'm like, yeah, I'd like to maybe copy. So I'm going to trash can that one. Maybe this new one I've got coming in is the Johnson 339. So it's going to be a lot like the Johnson T9. So notice I can select that one. And when I go to my plus sign, instead of just add a new facility, I can create a new facility duplicated from the selected one. Okay, and in this case, I'm only going to make one duplicate. Here's what it would look like. How many things on here are probably going to change, folks? Well, the name's probably going to change. I don't need the word duplicate anymore. It's identified that. And maybe instead of the north half of the north half of the south half, maybe it's the south half of the north half or whatever. Everybody okay with that? I mean, it might be in a different section or it might not. And I said the lat long now is not going to be accurate anymore, right? So the program has a little map over here, and it comes as just a, let's say for whatever reason, this is where my new one is. Notice that it was on this tank battery up here, but now it's going to be down here. And all I had to do was select it with my mouse, click, drag, and it changed the lat long coordinate for you. So you didn't have to do anything real spectacular there. You just had to find out where it was on the map, position the marker, hit yes, and it records the lat long of that point. Any questions on that? I might have changed the county. That's easy enough. It gives me a list of every county in the state that I'm in. Might have changed phone number. Okay. Probably none of these other things are going to change. The contacts, the chemicals, everything's going to remain the same. And I was able to add a new facility with just a couple of clicks. We hope that will save you guys a lot of time and effort. When I go back to my list, now I have 72 facilities because I added the Johnson 39. What if I wanted to add 20 facilities? Well, I would pick one probably. And when I did the create new facility, I'd say I want 20 duplicates. And it would make 20 duplicates. They would all include the name duplicate. See there? And then I would go in one at a time and make those changes that I need to. What if I wanted to get rid of 20 duplicates? Well, I could pick them one at a time and use a trash can, or I'm just going to do this because they're already, notice they're already selected, but I could go in here and select them all one at a time, hit the trash can, and delete the selected facilities. We hope all of that makes your life easier for providing the information. Once the information is complete, and validated. How do we know if it's validated, guys? It's going to have a green check mark. If it doesn't have a green check mark, you got to go, if it's got a red exclamation point, you got to go fix something. If you have issues with that, contact Matterhorn will help you, but the software will tell you when it wants fixed. But once you got everything you're going to do, which by the way, I'm going to get rid of the Johnson 3.9. It's not really part of anything. Then instead of import, we're going to submit. And I'm going to submit all 71 facilities. Now this is kind of important. Sometimes some of you guys would like to have a printout of what you're reporting. So instead of creating a submission file, you'd say, I want to create a different kind of file. And if I were going to print one, I probably want to do a PDF file. You can also create Excel files. You can also create a KML. Does anybody know what a KML file is? I'm going to suspect that some of you would like to have these.
No.
Okay, so a KML file, and I'll just demonstrate it. Say I'm going to make a KML file. This is Harrison Oil. Facilities. And I'm going to create a KML file for 71 of them. And you're going to have to save it somewhere and name it. Now, I may have to re-share. So let me stop share and go get this open. What that made was a Google Earth file. And when you open it, I'm going to share screen. Here it comes. When you open it in Google Earth, it will transfer those 71 oil wells over to the Google Earth map for you. Are you guys seeing this Google Earth map now?
Yes.
Slowly load.
So there's all 71 of those Harrison Oil sites on Google now for you. Does anyone think that might be useful for you? You have a little Google map of them?
Yes.
So you see how to do that, or you want me to go through that again? And then if you select one, it tells you which one it is and some of the information about it.
I'd like to see that again.
All righty. So kind of a cute little trick, you know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close my Google Earth. I'm going to discard, and I'm going to go back to my share screen. And we'll see if this works. Okay, are we looking at the software again, the Tier 2 submit? Is that what you're seeing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, and some of you guys, you might have multiple states. So we could do a search. And we could say, hey, I just want the ones that are in Oklahoma or whatever state. Okay. Now, in this case, it's going to turn out the same 71. But I've picked my set. Maybe you just wanted to do the ones in Haskell County for whatever reason. So I'll close out of that. I'll say, I want to find just the ones in Haskell County. In this case, out of that 71, that just turned out to be 6 of them. You guys with me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I go export. I'm gonna make a KML file. I'm just gonna do those 6, not all 71. And I don't know what all you see there, but I exported them. Now I've got to stop share here and go open this on my laptop. What did I call it? Haskell sites. And then I'll reshare. Hang on. I got to reshare with you or share the new one. And all I did was I found the file and I double clicked on it and it will open Google Earth for me, import the file and show them. And these, of course, will just be the Haskell County ones. Everybody okay with that? See how that worked?
Yes.
Everybody that wanted to, anyway. So you could make all of your sites. And by the way, this will work no matter how many states you're reporting in. That same function will operate. So if I had a whole bunch of them up here in Kansas, they would all show up too. Because what Google Earth does is plot them. How do you suppose Google Earth knows where to put these little blue dots? How does it know where to put those?
Go off lat long.
It goes right off the lat long. Yippers. So if you put lat long 00 in there, which some people have tried to do, that's great because they'll show up in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Africa. Okay. It doesn't know how to read things like section, township, and range. The only thing it knows is lat long. So I'm going to clear out of that and go back to the software share screen, which is here. Once you get the information in here, so there's a few other things you can do with it. I'm going to remove my search. I'm going to get ready to submit to the state of Oklahoma. So I want to create a submission file. If you talk to Bat and I, we'll tell you it's called a T2S file. We're going to create one for all 71. We're going to call it Harrison Oil 2020 Teir II report or submission or whatever. I recommend you call it something. You know how many reports I get every year that are named Teir II file? That's not as helpful as it could be. So if I have to go find it, I've got like, 3,000 of them all with the same name. I always recommend you put your company name on it. Makes it a lot easier for me to find. You get this screen, all you need to do is close. You're done with the Teir II software. And you're ready to return to the internet. So I got to share again. You're ready to return to the DEQ stuff. Remember we had this page up a little while ago and we got the software and we download and import. Now we're ready to upload. So I click the upload button. It wants me to relog, so I'll do that. And you will usually have to do that as well, because the system times out before you get ready to actually get your report up. So relog. Are you guys seeing me relog in and so forth?
Yes.
Okay, so this was
Yes.
lovely. I'm gonna have to stop share on this. Give me just a second here. This happens. It kicked me out of the system. Now, let's see if this, yeah, this will work. So let me reshare. Share screen. Okay, so we're gonna be right here and we're gonna be ready to upload. You get a screen that says, hey, I wanna upload. Everybody pay real close attention here. This is the most common accidental error that people make. This is the most common one. You choose file and it gives you browser. And you go, okay, I called that one Harrison Oil, right? Whatever it was I called it. Remember I called it this? Now, if you select next, this file never uploads. Thumbs up. Every year I get a couple hundred of these. I'll call somebody and say, hey, I don't have your report, and they'll say, I did it. Well, what they did was, let me show you what happens. They selected it all right, but they never hit this upload button. They went to next, and it just lets you go right on ahead and do your invoice. So it won't actually upload. Let me go grab that. Harrison Oil. Right there. Oops, I don't want that one. Until you hit that upload button and you get a message. Hopefully everybody paid good attention to that. Maybe none of you did that, but it's real easy to do, and people do it every year. They select the file and never hit that button right there, and in which case, I never get the file. I don't have it, which means when I do auditing, I'm going to contact you and say, where's your file? And you're going to say, well, I did it, and rightfully be upset. If I were you, I'd be upset, but we're just trying to get the file. Then you would go next, and you would complete the process of making your invoice. It will give you an invoice that you can view. Did that share, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. I'm never quite sure what's making it through on sharing and what isn't. Okay.
Hey, Tom, we have about 5 minutes left.
I'm done.
I'm gonna unmute I'm gonna reclaim host. I'm gonna unmute everyone so that way everyone can kind of ask any questions that they have.
Yes. I was just going to put up my email, but you can do that.
Yes.
I'll put it over here in the group chat.
Perfect. All right. Does anyone have any questions that they need to ask Tom or anything that they didn't get covered?
There's my name and phone number.
Not at this time. Is this recording going to be somewhere on the link where maybe we could watch it again?
Yes, eventually it will be. We are trying to build up the database before we set it out for everyone. So I'd say in the next couple months, yes.
I see a question from Suzanne. Are you reporting, Suzanne, for oil and gas properties or some other kind of business?
Yeah, oil and gas.
Oil and gas.
That's right.
For oil and gas production sites, I would simply report produced hydrocarbons, and that will cover all of your materials on site. If you're reporting for a yard where you store other kinds of materials, in other words, it's not a tank battery or a wellhead, then yes, you would report those other materials. Is that clear?
Yep, got it. Thanks.
The produced hydrocarbons is supposed to apply only to the actual production site, the remote, rural, or whatever site, not to the yards and not to the compressor stations. Many of the compressor stations have large quantities of other types of materials. So,
All right, if anyone else has any questions, please feel free to let us know. If not, thank you guys for joining us today, and I hope to see you guys at our next one.
yes. I echo those sentiments, Tawny.
Thank you, Tawny.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you all for the good
Thanks.